This is Fam Electric Ghost, and we're live on the air with Rex Sweeney, and
Yes,
we're
sir.
talking to you today about making movies while paying the rent.
Yes, sir, man. It's a heck of a grind, man.
Yeah, like making movies or paying the rent, the dual life of a working class filmmaker. So, welcome to the Fam Electric Ghost podcast. How you doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm thriving. It's a beautiful day. I've got a DJ set in a little bit, and we just got accepted into another film festival. So it's an active day.
Well, yeah. So you're a musician too, because I'm here with all my synths.
Oh, nice, bro.
I'm
Synth, dude.
yeah, I'm a synth guy. I got my Roland, I got Junos and Moogs and
Yo,
Euroraps. So I'm an old school kind of
hey, I
synthesis
respect it.
keyboard.
That takes a different level of just tedious like working, man. Synthing is
Yeah,
fun,
yeah,
bro.
my heroes are like, like Rick Wakeman, Stevie
Banger,
Wonder, that type of
classic.
stuff. Yeah, that stuff. But otherwise, like it's cool that you're a creative person. You do filmmaking, and that's a cool place to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like, well, I love to talk to artists. They're like, independent artists. And so, what
Hmm.
made you want to do what you do?
Oh man, it's a long story, but to start, man, when I was in high school, all the way till I graduated college, I was just a rapper. That was my only goal, was just to be a famous rapper. And
Hmm.
throughout that process of being a musician myself, I found a lot more fun in music videos and album rollouts and all the stuff that comes after the song was the funner
Yeah,
part
yeah.
for me.
You found out you had to done another level of discipline.
Exactly, yeah. So it was yeah, so that was kind of like the start of the hill, and then as I got to meet more and more different creatives, either musicians or filmmakers or music video directors. I got in where I fit in, and I found a really cool role as a producer. um and that's kind of like where I thrive. Producing is fun. that's
Is that
that's
you
my
started on music videos first or
Yes,
short
sir.
film? Or
Yeah. So my first music video I shot in like 2013, and then I did probably about 12 more with various directors, but I ended up developing a really good relationship with my friend Josh, who
mhm.
is the director of our feature film.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's never a linear path, man, I swear.
That's
But
interesting 'cause I remember back in the day when MTV was actually doing music videos, there were some music film directors that got into film.
oh
They
yeah,
actually started doing film. It
and
was like
vice versa.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're going back and forth. Like, there were the Ran Duran videos are doing my age was they were really interesting because they were like these little films.
Oh yeah.
And that was like, "Oh, you could do that because when you first saw the first MTV videos, they weren't that. They
It's
they were
yeah.
they were like, "Okay,
Like
let's see how cheap we can do it."
yeah, live performance. Let's put you guys all in one room. We're gonna have two angles and we're done,
Yeah, that's it. The early videos, like, who killed the videos killed the, radio star video.
Mhm, yeah. Oh, iconic, bro. Come on.
But yeah, then the Duran Duran video, these, like, go to another country and film this, like, little movie.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's just so yeah, the discipline, like, did you think that music videos kinda set you up to be able to thinking about film, or you just like, "Oh, I wanna move toward film?"
No, that definitely set it up. So, like, my first music video that I worked with a director that I wasn't really, like, friends with, I had a whole vision, a whole plan, and I got the video back, and it was not what I wanted, man, and I realized that you gotta find a way to communicate what you want in the pre-production before you even get to set, because
Mhm,
if you're making it up on the fly or you're like, "Oh, yeah, I got you," and they don't know,
mm.
then you're gonna end up with a product you're not really proud of.
Yeah, so you have to have that vision. Like, you kinda, like, do you have to, like, storyboard it, or you just have to
Yeah.
know what you want?
A little bit of both. So depending on who you're working with, it may come down to being, shot for shot, storyboarded, full treatment. The more you work with someone, they kind of get on the same wave as you, and you're like, oh, yo, we could do this shot like that movie, or like we could do it like this, or
You
what
have
if
a
I
good
came
like,
around
you're
and
talking the same language with, like, everybody, right? Because it's a team thing. You gotta deal with the lighting,
Mhm.
with the camera guys, with all the different people who are involved, the sound guys, like everybody's like it's like a team thing. Like
Hands
if you're
down,
a musician, you have a band. It's like a team sport. Like if
hands
we
down.
have 4 piece, 5 piece band. I've talked to film directors and say, hey, my whole crew, it's like a team. Like when it's clicking, then you know you got it. When
And
it's not
that's
clicking, then you know you got problems.
then it's a mess. Yeah, someone's got to save the day, man. Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of film. I always like I've done like all levels of content creation, from music videos to viral TikToks to I've had my own late night show for a while, and I feel like film is really like the last bastion of like great content creation. That's like the last thing that you can't do on your own, and like the last thing that people will respect as a remarkable piece of product, whether or not it's good or
Well, the
bad.
form, well, the form to me is like I go back, my love for film go back to like Orson Welles' Citizen Kane.
Oh,
Yeah,
banger. Yeah, come on.
he was asked like they asked him like why is it like this? Is why I didn't know what you couldn't do with the camera.
Exactly. There's no
Right?
rules, you
I
know?
didn't know that you couldn't do like that fade that he
Mhm.
kind of invented. Like there's and the different angles because he's like, wow, I didn't know you couldn't do that, so I did it. So
Yeah. Let's shoot through the floor, you know? It's gonna look
yeah,
cool, you know?
yeah, there's
Like
all these ideas like if sometimes if you come from maybe not going to film school,
mhm.
then like a musicians, like if somebody like a guitar player who approaches the synthesizer,
Exactly.
Like a Pete Townsend.
Mhm.
Pete Townsend is one of the greatest synthesizer like players ever
That's
because he
incredible, yeah.
approached it from a different way than like than Keith Emerson, right?
Exactly.
Because he's a
Yeah.
guitar player. So he when he looked at a synthesizer, he said, "Well, what can I do?" Right?
Mhm.
We kind of come at it from a different instrument, right? So Miles Davis when he approaches like piano, that's not his main instrument, but he approaches it in a different way. And so
Exactly.
it's like when you have these things that come from different areas, you can bring in like a lot of cross genre, cross disciplinary things.
Mhm.
Do you find that does that work for you? Is it
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's really fun working with our team because we got so the people that we worked with on First Friday, most of the creators involved are we're part of a collective that was very frequent in the Las Vegas Arts District, and we covered bands. So most of our early work was just filming live performances.
live bands?
The late night show we did was all based on music and stuff like that. So, having the freedom and like the there's no rules with it, so it was never like, oh, we have to get this shot on this side of like this
Yeah,
sort of
it's
lens or anything like
more like
that.
in the present moment, capture the moment.
Exactly, yeah. And then like moving towards like the feature film, like no one said we could do it for 30,000. I mean, we shot the entire film in 7 days for $30,000, which if you talk to a film student, they'd be
Yeah,
like,
how
that
can you
movie's
do
gonna
that? Is that
yeah,
because you're
exactly.
using, like, modern tech, that
Yeah.
it's not as expensive as the old? Because I know everything's, like, digital, no one's using, like, real film.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we shot on a red camera, which is a red Komodo, which is basically the highest level of prosumer out there right now, but it's still within the reach of affordability for a lot of filmmakers. So that was a really crucial aspect, and we had two of them on set. Our cinematographer had one, and our director had one. So it turned into like, hey, we need B-roll. Go run around and go get that real quick. Or we had our first AC run around and did shots of stuff that we couldn't do in the time with the acting and everything like that going on in the background. So
Mhm.
yeah, no, it was very much as run and gun as it could be, and the permitting and stuff like that was a whole different beast.
Right,
And
that's the whole thing, is, like, is there like, when you work on film, are you producer, director? Because I know
I'm
the producer does, like, a lot of that, getting the permits, getting the managing, the money, the budget, all the other things, and a director might be more, you know, "How do I make that script happen?"
what's going to go on screen. Yeah, so I served as an executive producer on our feature film, and
Mhm.
so I was basically I was batting cleanup, man. There was only 15, 20 of us on set on most days as far as crew members. Sometimes we had 120 extras on set, and I did everything from run to grab the coffee to save the actor's day to coordinate the extras in the background to
Yeah, so it's
you
like
name it.
it's a managing, like, they just gotta make it happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah,
Like a
yeah.
startup. I'm an IT guy in my day job,
Oh,
and
nice.
in a startup, you kinda wear different hats. One day you're an architect, one day you're an analyst, one day
That's
you're a programmer, one day you're a manager.
That's exactly what it felt like. I mean, our cinematographer, filled in some producer roles as well. Our director did some producer work, and then we had a fourth producer named Allison, and she helped out a ton too. So like, there was not a moment where we said like, "Oh, we can't do this." It's like, "Hey, figure this out. Someone's got to
Yeah,
figure this
step
out.
up.
Hey,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
handle
you have
this."
that kinda
Yeah,
startup entrepreneurial attitude. It's like, "Well, that's not,"
exactly.
if you get the 9 to 5 job, it's like, "Well, that's not my job."
Yeah,
It's like when
exactly.
you're in the creative space, you tend not to get, like, artists. talking like that.
Yeah,
Artists is like whatever's gonna make this thing happen,
it's got to go.
we're gonna do it to make it happen, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like for example, one of our locations that we had for our big climax sequence backed out in like the last week and a half. And
Oh,
so, luckily I had met and worked with a different venue owner prior, and I was like, let's just go ask, let's go see. My director gave him the spiel, and the guy gave us a great deal. But that being said, it was about a fourth of the size of the venue that we had
that
originally planned.
you wanted to use. Yeah.
So yeah, so it became a creative game with my director and my cinematographer figuring out like, hey, we can't shoot it like this. We got to
We
redesign
have
the
to
whole sequence.
do the whole sequences. Yeah, that's kinda like off the cuff things, like when you're making decisions in the creative,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's very much so to me like songwriting or
100%.
like I've talked to authors and they do world building.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like a fantasy author that's doing like something like a Tolkien type of idea
Oh
or
yeah.
a science fiction kind of version of that, right? They
Absolutely.
build that whole world and they got like, whoa. And they can be really, and then suddenly they might have this idea and they spend all this time building a world and it's like, well, you know what?
I mean,
This thing I got now actually is better than the world I just built here, and I'm gonna make some adjustments on the fly.
it's yeah, no, it's that you encounter that all the time in script writing. Like I do a lot of script doctoring for my friends, and like I'll be like, hey man, like the first page he says he hates broccoli, and now he's over here eating a page of like a whole plate of broccoli. What's going on here? Like, is this internal anguish or like is
Yeah,
this
what is
just a
going on?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the idea, like, even in music, like that modal jazz or fusion is the willingness to kind of do that improvisational structure that kind of
Hmm.
goes off that maybe dissonance or discordance and come back to a harmony and timing changes, key changes, and it can be like all over the map.
Hmm.
Like something like if you listen to like Bitches Brew, like Davis, it's like it's just all over the
Yeah.
map. It's like it's just going like Sun Ra stuff. It's like going into dissonance and coming back, going to different keys. So if you have like that kind of it's just going off. Oh, it's this total collision.
Hmm.
But then you have this like you got to ground it. Like so you're looking for like in your story, like you're looking for like what's the hook, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What's
Yeah.
actually gonna keep people from walking out? What's gonna get people into it? What's people make it want to come in, right, and
Oh
stay in?
yeah. I mean, we dealt with that a ton in the edit because I mean we only had so much footage, but it's like, hey, this scene doesn't feel fast enough, or this scene feels too long, or why does he talk about this for this long? Are we gonna lose them here before they even get to the cool part? It's like that's a big part of just the whole process. I mean, you're made to something you're proud of, but you're also made to something that you'd want to watch over and over, or
And when
listen
you're
to, or
filmmaking, also, like, sometimes you're not sequentially filming the scenes in the order that they occur, right? Sometimes
absolutely not.
you're
Yeah, we were.
recording things all over the timeline, right?
Oh, yeah, we have a great story about that. So we shot according to our location schedule. So luckily we got all the locations we needed, but we only had, this location on this day, this location on this day, and this happens at the start of the story, and this happens at the end of the story, whatever. And there was a sequence that we shot on day 2 where uh a couple comes into the house, fighting, and they're, fully dressed. He's got like his jacket on, he's got all this stuff. But 3-4 days later we shot the sequence, and he leaves the sequence without his flannel on and without his shoes on. And so it turned into, okay, we got to go add this extra shot to explain how he gets his
Yeah,
shirt
you gotta
back,
make it make sense. So it is in the editing, like, sometimes, like, do you end up, like, in the editing room and say, "Hey, something's out of the it's not actually in the continuum, it's, like, out of sync, and we gotta go back and fix it."
Yeah, no, 100%. We ended up doing 2 days of pickup shoots, which was the most skeleton crew I've ever worked with, bro. There was probably 5 of us besides the actors, and that was our wardrobe, our director, our DP, and 2 producers. And
Does
it
that
was just
happen, like, pre-editing or happen, like, post-editing? Like,
it was that was we had started the edit process. We had watched the whole thing over and over, but we hadn't, started making cuts, and there was no way to not explain this. It would have just been like the
yeah,
biggest like
see.
annoying thing. So luckily we had the actors. We didn't even have a script for it. They just improved the
Mhm.
sequence, and you'll see in the film Vanessa throws Trey his shirt and his shoes outside of the car as they're walking towards the location that we shot on day 2. And yeah, it was wild, man. It was a very cool creative process as far as like explaining things. We also did a lot of patchwork in the sound design process. So we spent about 6 months doing sound design and ADR. And there were some things where it's like, okay, why did she walk out of frame here? And then it's like, oh, maybe she's turning on a record. So let's have the needle drop go there. And then,
Yeah, there's a
you
lot
know,
of work on audio, like, with your sound, like, 'cause the film sound is so important.
oh, absolutely. That
From
was,
the, like, the effects of, like, making the scene work to the, like, the
yeah,
footsteps and all the things, when people are drinking wa I mean, all the additional sound work that gets done. Because I actually had
yeah.
a sound guy on one time, and he was just talking about how much work goes into
Oh, it's like
getting
remaking the entire film
yeah,
almost. I mean, it's absurd like how much effort goes into it. Like, I mean, we were on set, we shot in downtown Arts District, Las Vegas, and man, there is a ton of helicopter tours going overhead.
oh, so
So
you had to pull that out, huh? Or not even have that there.
hold for sound, it turned into a lot of, hurry up and wait, and then it turned into we gotta, fix it in the edit, or at some point we ended up just adding some helicopters back in because it
That you
was
say, "Well, just use it in as part of the story."
yeah, exactly.
Instead
Yeah,
of
it's
trying to get rid of it, like, work it in.
yeah, and like some of them are even artificial. We're like, man, it just doesn't feel the way it did on the day. It's like, yeah, let's throw a little
Just add in
helicopter.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting because, like, the sound people, and then, the different edits you can do, and then, like, a lot of the technical edits, like, how yeah, I mean, how much, in terms of effects, like, special effects, depending on, it's not Star Wars effects, but, like,
yeah.
how much effect processing do you do on a movie like yours?
We had a handful of visual effects. We had a couple things that we had to change as far as like signage that
Mhm.
had to be altered, and then we had there is one gunshot that gets a little bloody. So that one was we of course we didn't use fake blood on the day, so that turned into a whole thing where we had to have someone go in and rotoscope and add this blood mat behind them, and then we had a bunch of muzzle flashes and stuff
Oh,
like
wow.
that. So there was I would say overall probably about 12 VFX shots, which isn't that much for something like us. Like, um,
That's
you know,
cool.
yeah, typically, I mean, you would Avatar, every single shot is VFX,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
some of
new
the sci-fi movies is just the whole thing's like
or the biopic with the monkey,
yeah,
Better
that
Man or something like
yeah,
that.
Better
Yeah,
Man, that thing's all
that's top to bottom, so
the
that's
whole thing.
it's incredible. But that's where budget comes in, man. And like if we had the opportunity, we probably would have went a little bit crazier with VFX just because it's expensive. But
Well,
we made it.
story is, to me, is like, I've always been like, "Oh, like, I don't have to have all the bells and whistles if you can tell a story."
Absolutely. I mean, there's an old story about there's a story about this play in London in like 1920, and they went balls to the wall. They got all the coolest smoke, fire. They got magicians. They're doing the ghost effect and stuff like that, and it didn't sell at all because everyone was down the street watching this incredible story where you could see the wires, but they're flying and stuff like that, and it was Peter Pan, and
People, I'd
it's
rather see that.
yeah, it's an incredible
Yeah,
it
well,
was
sometimes
good
less is more.
reminder.
Less
Yeah.
is more sometimes, like, if you have a really good story and you have really
Hmm.
and actors can really carry it through.
Yeah. Major.
So in
Yeah.
terms of, like, getting the feel of, like, what, understanding the script, understanding the motivation, how much are you involved with, like, making sure it's, like, it matches the script,
Oh, scripts. So script supervision is actually an incredibly important role on a film set. Unfortunately, we didn't have a script supervisor because we couldn't pay one. But we had actors that really knew the story. I was on set. I knew the story really well, and my director is very story driven. My
so you guys took care of it like that.
We did it. Yeah, we did it almost as like a village. But yeah, looking back on it, like that the shot I was talking about where she ended up throwing his shirt at him, we could have avoided that whole pickup day if we would have just had a script to be like, hey, he's leaving the scene without a shirt on. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but yeah, no, I will never, ever, ever do another film without a scripty.
Yeah. So, like, the YouTube we have there, is this like a preview of it?
That is our feature. Yeah, our trailer for our feature. So that's about a minute and a half, and you get a little element of the story. Just to break down the film, it's a coming of age, kind of like brother sister slice of life story. Brother and sister hang out in the arts district all the time. The sister has a podcast. The brother prints T-shirts, and they hang out with their group of friends. There's 5 of them, and the way that these two brother and sister fund their ventures is when from their high school friend. He is a shady character, a drug dealer of sorts, and he goes by Two Sacks, and they owe him some money. And what it comes down to is the only way to pay him back is by using 3D printed guns, which they have recently discovered exist. So it's a fun story. It's it's got a little bit of everything. It feels like a very much like an indie movie. But it's a fun watch, man. It's a great Friday night movie. It's fun. It's amazing. It's called First Friday.
Well, who inspired you to want to make as a, who are your inspirations as as a filmmaker? Are there other independent film producers that you were looked up to
Yeah,
kind
I
of give
mean,
you the idea?
it's crazy. The more I've worked within this field, the more I've found new role models. There's this incredible producer named Sienna Oberman, and she has taken so many projects from $0 budgets, found the right funders, and gotten them into festivals and stuff like that. She's incredible. Obviously, Sean Baker is a great new inspiration for every indie filmmaker. His Anora film just won, Best Picture and stuff like that. So there's and then obviously I really like watching the dynamics of the underdog. So me and my director, we always feel like Kevin Smith and his producer, his name's escaping me right now, but Kevin Smith shot Clerks for no money, and they did it in one
that's a
location.
real big return to indie film. I remember that film that everybody was like, I remember when Quentin was doing it when he was
yeah,
when he was before he blew up. But the idea independent films, I've always been into that kind of place because I've always supported independent musicians. They're on the small labels. It's the
same argument,
same vibe. It's I like indie wherever it is, like indie video games,
absolutely,
indie filmmakers, indie musicians, indie artists, because what's in the mainstream is cool, but I always found indie, they do things that may be atypical.
Atypical, or
it's a story that I want to actually get into. It's not the same story I see all the time.
Yeah, I mean, as much of a big budget would be incredible, I also feel like my director made the right call by not looking for the $200,000 that we could have used to maintain story integrity, to maintain the story that we wanted to tell. Because this movie is really based on our experiences, working at that collective, covering those bands, hanging out in the arts district, and we got the chance to tell the story that we were familiar with. So that was a really
it makes it you're honest and vulnerable and not a cookie cutter thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming from your experience where that ends up having a flavor.
And there's literal conversations in the film where people are breaking down. She goes, I don't even want to make T-shirts no more. And he's like, well, I made more money off your T-shirts than the podcast, and that's a literal conversation we had at the collective back in the day. So
that's something the artists know about. They make more money with the shirt. You see?
Yeah, exactly.
You make more money with the shirt than the music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You sell the merch, man.
The merch is the thing, is now people want to get your merch.
Now, yeah, exactly.
It's you get a contract, and now you guys want a percentage of my merch, and you guys don't pay me.
Yeah. No.
Now you want the money. They think this is my thing. It's not yours.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly.
But so in terms of distribution for this film, where is it living?
That is a monster we are figuring out, man. So right now we're in the film festival circuit. So basically the goal of that is to, develop a little more allure with the film community. Cause we're very much outsiders. So developing some more, gravitas with the film community, and then hopefully securing distribution to a larger network. I mean, there is opportunities to self-distribute through Tubi and Amazon and stuff like that, but we really think that this movie is worth a lot more than that. And I think that with the right audience, it could become a bit of a cult classic, at least here in Las Vegas. And yeah, man. So the goal is to get into one major film festival. Luckily, we've been accepted to over 10 right now, and we have.
Awesome. So you're on the tour. You're gonna be on in the next couple of months. You're just gonna be going to festivals.
That's the goal. Yeah. So the ones that we are in right now are a lot of them are in Europe. So Europe's festival season starts a lot earlier. So we haven't had the chance to go visit right now. But we did manage to secure a award for East Village in New York,
Oh,
which
that's
was
cool.
really cool. And then we also just won one for the Rap Film Festival. We got Best Picture for that one, which was really cool, man. Very unexpected. And that one's based in London. So
Do you
yeah,
think when you go overseas, does that give you opportunity to get picked up by like, foreign distributors, or is it all
yeah.
just
I mean, the goal is to go worldwide with this. So it's like
mhm,
just depending on the right distributor. And like we're so we're very green with that world, you know. So just figuring out the right way and finding the right product. But the way we're looking at it is we made this movie for $30,000 and look how good it looks. See
mhm.
what we can do with 500,000. See what we can do
Oh,
with
so you're
even
hoping that you can get so you already have, like, pitches for your next film?
absolutely, yeah. So we have a couple shorts that we've already produced a one short film with our one of our lead actors who wrote it and directed it. And that's going to be coming out and also doing the festival circuit. And then we have another one that we're making right now with an incredible team, man. It's called Raven's Room. And
Oh,
so that
wow.
one's going to be coming up soon. Very stylistic, very, very fun. So yeah, we're kind of just hitting the beats of like just building that resume, making sure that people see us as actual filmmakers and not just some
You're putting
kids that
stuff
make.
in the can, because like any artist, is like sometimes you gotta get enough like, with a musician, you gotta have enough songs to do the tour.
Yeah, it's always about what's next, you know,
Yeah, they
honestly.
if you got a tour, like, you usually have to have, like, maybe 2 albums worth of stuff. If
Yeah.
you just have 1, then you're doing a bunch of covers with your songs, but it's like, you can actually have a bunch of stuff in the can. And, musicians, we usually have a lot in the can.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's like there's tons of stuff that didn't hit the album I could play live, I can get away with it because it's like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not on the album.
as a musician, it's always fun. But we also have scripts that we're ready to punch, and you know, I've got a 6 episode series that I've got brewing that's like my pet project. And my director has an incredible feature coming up that if we can secure the rights for it, that one's going to need a budget. But if we could secure the funding for those rights for that project, it's going to be incredible, man.
Is like a film or just like a streaming project?
That would be a full film. That'd be a
Full
full
film.
feature. So that'd be like our next major feature that we
So
got.
your focus is more on film than doing, like, these streaming kinda episodic things?
Overall, yeah. I mean, me personally, I'm ready to produce whatever, bro. You present me with something cool, I'll help you put it together and let's make a hit. But as far as my director is concerned, yeah, Josh is pretty much locked in on just feature films. He's
Feature
trying to
films.
win Oscars, and
Mhm.
I'm all on board for that, man. I'm ready
Yeah,
to
well,
go.
that's a cool place to be because it's all like, to me, it's like, I wanna see what's coming from, like, the underground, what comes from the independent voices, because I
Yeah,
think that's the, like, for me as an artist, that's what makes me that's what gets me excited when you see a new, like, film company or new production company or new, independent record label that's putting out cool stuff. Like I grew up in the day back in the day of like Sub Pop and
oh nice, yo.
IRS records and people being on these like I love bands like Who's to Do
Oh
and
yeah.
the Replacements, and these bands were all on Sub Pop and
Mm-hmm. They
being
went,
on these different SST labels. Like,
yo.
yeah, because that's where like yeah, I used to buy everything on SST, like
Oh
everything
wow.
on Sub Pop because like
Yeah.
even before Nirvana Blue, I was like, these guys are this label's cool because it's got this cool vibe. It's
Yeah,
just
absolutely. Yeah, like
yeah,
any, and you never know what you're gonna get with it with an indie project. I mean, I've seen so many indie features that end with a question mark, and so many indie features that end, you know, have me standing up and clapping or crying or whatever. But it's like I feel like it just hits so much harder when you're not expecting
yeah.
a
Well, it's
big
not the
studio.
formula because everybody
Yeah,
just wants to remake like an old movie or take a known concept and keep on running it to death.
exactly,
So
exactly. Yeah,
how
it's
many
like
times am I gonna see Dracula? How many times am I gonna see the Mummy?
yeah,
How many times am I gonna see this known property? You're gonna keep on bringing them back, bring back Indiana Jones is back, or
or
this is back.
playing the same beats. You know, how many
Yeah,
John Wick movies can there be? You know, or
yeah,
how many
it's like
similar to John Wick movies can there be? You know.
yeah, it's like, why? It's like, I want like, why can't we see, like, a 2001 type of space movie?
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
yeah. There's
that's not the. Typical space opera,
Yeah, that
it's like the
film is
rare thing.
loaded with question marks, man.
Yeah,
That is
and
yeah.
that thing was like Kubrick, it's like,
Yeah.
"Here, you get this thing." It's like, wow. And
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh no, I'm gonna do the rock. I'm gonna do a space opera." It's like, well, how many
Mhm.
space operas do we have?
Exactly,
Do
yeah.
something else. But yeah, it's if it comes from this, because I spent a lot of time in Japan,
Oh,
and I
nice.
was really into anime and manga, and I also like I was watching like a lot of like Korean and Taiwanese and Chinese theater, like John Woo movies, Jackie Chan movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like back before they were big. I
Mhm.
was I was actually into Jackie Chan before he blew up. Like
Oh, wow.
I was watching like Project A. I was
Wow.
watching all these things like the ones that nobody really knew.
Yeah, and now
You
they're
know,
cult
that's
classics, man.
yeah, everybody's into that, but it's like, yeah, it was before it was like people were into it. It's like I was into it. It's like, "Why are you watching this Project A thing? This is corny." It's like, then suddenly he blew up. It's like, "Oh, now he's not corny, right?"
Yeah, exactly. Now it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. It's just cool to be in that spot where you're actually, you have something. Then you're like,
Mhm.
"Well, I'm gonna find something else," but, once it blows up, they go with like, "Well, I gotta find something cool again." But, yeah, it's just something, like, about that underground vibe. I was
Yeah.
always into the Velvet Underground.
Oh,
You know,
major,
I was
yeah.
it was into, like, Big Star, like Alex Chilton, Big Star, stuff that
Right,
people,
yeah.
like, don't listen to,
Yeah,
except
not
other
necessarily,
artists.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
see other producers, like, yeah, yeah, I know Alex Chilton, I know Lou Reed, I know the Velvets, like, tons of producers know it, but the fans don't know it, but the
Oh,
producers
yeah. I think it's so much cooler to be your favorite artist than to be everyone's favorite artist, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you wanna be able to live, you wanna be able to
Mhm.
survive, but you wanna do something that you feel is like, "This is authentic from the heart, my vision, I'm not phoning it in," right? This is
Yeah.
something it's a passion project, right?
Yeah, and that's the way I'm approaching almost everything these days is, like, if you don't have passion for it, don't push it, make something better, make something different, you know?
So, so part of the narrative we were talking about is, like, how do you actually be a working class, like, movie maker and pay the rent? Because everybody knows, like, the starving artist thing, like the
Mhm.
musician living in the back of the Econoline van and, having to have the merch in the truck, and you're being your own sound man, and you're going from, you just keep it even, but you're out there doing it because 'cause you're not, but,
Oh,
like,
yeah. So
sometimes you gotta have the day job.
I I had a big epiphany, back in 2022, essentially. I was in a crazy accident. I had to learn how to walk again. So I spent about 6 months tied up in bed, and the whole time I'm just sitting there like, "Man, I do not like the life I have right now." So I decided from there I was only gonna do jobs that were fun and were skill based on things that I already did. So, I was a rapper, a journalist, a host. I had done all these things, basically for free for about 3 years and, rapping longer, obviously. But I realized I had this skill set and I was like, "Wait, these are actually pretty lucrative professions." So I went and did a little bit of everything. I was a TikTok viral actor for a while. I Then I picked up DJing, and DJing is probably like the most lucrative. So my goal was just to find a job that paid the most, that gave me the most free time possible, so I could create things I liked.
But you made sure it was something that you were, like, not, just, like, kinda not excited about.
Phoning it in. Yeah, no, exactly. And like I mean, there's very few jobs that I've had in the past that like I absolutely hated. Most of the time I'll bail on a job if I don't like it.
Mhm.
But my goal was just to have something, yeah, I'm gonna have fun at work and I'm gonna make money really fast and I'm gonna have a lot of free time and I'm gonna make my own schedule. And those were like the biggest kind of key components into being in this
Yeah, being
position
able to be
now.
free enough
Yeah,
to be able to actually do it. I've
exactly.
always
Yeah.
yeah, it's always trying to, have the balance in your day gig versus your
Oh yeah.
passion project. Can your
Yeah.
day gig be something that's not mind numbing? That
Yeah.
actually
Something,
can pay for my Moog,
yeah. Stimulating. Yeah, exactly.
pay
Yeah.
for pay for my role in Juno, can it pay for
Yeah.
my amps? Can it pay for my soundboard? Can it
Exactly.
pay for all
Yeah.
my stuff? It's like and then it, like, give me enough time that I can actually do it.
Mhm.
That's the balance. Like, every kind of artist is like, if you can't just be the starving artist, or you can't be like the artist with the big, money pocket, big deep pockets,
Mhm.
or somebody
Yeah.
gives you the deep pocket.
Hey, man, it would be amazing to have a rich uncle right now, but,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
always like yeah, yeah.
that's, yeah, but we don't, and luckily, like, my director, like, Josh Ojeda really, like, he's driven this whole, ship to this point. I've just kinda kept the sails open. But,
Mhm.
yeah, man, like, he saved up for 2 years working at like Whole Foods or something, bro. Like
Yeah.
just
Well,
making as much
you gotta
money as
do that.
possible.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing. You put the time in on your day job to sacrifice for what you want,
yeah,
or
exactly.
you figure out like how am I gonna manage or get somebody with the deep pockets, or get people to believe in you, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
major
that
too.
becomes the next phase, because I guess that's the phase you're getting into, where you're gonna maybe get people to start supporting projects, right?
Oh, hands down. Yeah, no. So we're at a beautiful point, beautiful juncture right now where everyone around us believes in us. We know the city's got our back, and we know that we've managed to do a good job showcasing that. Like we did a sneak preview of the film back in November, and we had 500 people come through. Just no ad spend or anything. We were really just
Well,
promoting through socials, and everyone was just excited about the project. We've been working on it for about a year and a half at that point, and yeah, man, we know that the city is excited about it. We got luckily we got a local news anchor to appear in the film as well, so that gave us good exposure and
yeah, you just
got us
learning
on the news.
how to is because you're in Vegas, do you think you got more opportunities to have some kind of synergy like that? Do you
Uh,
have a way to connect to that
yes,
already entertainment kinda
yes
structure?
and no. Yes and no. I think it doesn't come naturally, but we had done so much work with the community and working with different bands and artists and musicians and stuff like that with the collective that we worked at that our it was almost like a natural evolution where it's like, oh, those kids that, used to make sick videos are making movies now. That
Oh,
made
so you're
sense.
able to take advantage of that collective connection, like that community,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
kinda be able to pivot a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. And our network, I mean, my network was so strong at the start of the project. It's still like it's even stronger now. But the network that we were able to utilize was incredible. I mean, we got to do all of our sound design at 11th Street Records in downtown
Mhm.
Vegas, which is the same studio that the Killers recorded that one of their platinum albums at. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
a cool thing to be able to do. That's like
yeah,
they could leverage some of the facilities, like dual use, like, yeah, I'm doing that right now with my my bedroom studio. I
heck
pivot
yeah.
from doing my records to doing the podcast.
Yeah, what's the difference? Same, you still need microphones, you
You
still
need
need,
my
the
mixer,
software.
all the
Yeah.
stuff, so you use the same gear to do a similar thing, because it's like there's a synergy. It's like, "Oh, I don't have to invest in so many things,
Yeah.
because I
I
already
mean,
have a bunch of stuff."
and it's very much DIY, but at the same time, it's like, hey, it's getting better every day, you
Oh,
know?
yeah, the tech is so much better, because, I mean, when I started podcasting in 2020, I didn't have the tools we have today, you know?
Oh yeah, no, it's absurd. I mean, the SM7B just being this accessible is crazy, man. Like this is
Yeah.
a beautiful microphone. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I like my 512 thing here, but
I respect it. I respect it.
yeah, everybody got the thing, but it's like, yeah, the access, and then, being a musician, we kinda know our way around a mixer board,
Oh
where we
yeah, no,
know about
that's
certain things, so
that's
we
another side hustle I'll pick up every now and then as well. I'll do some audio engineering for,
yeah.
medical conferences or stuff for UNLV or whatever, just because it pays, I'll take the
Yeah, well,
money.
it pays to be able to do that, yeah, I've
Yeah.
been out yeah, if you can when you can leverage, like, in this podcast space, people, yeah, I run into tons of filmmakers, I run into, directors, I run into authors, I run into art, and then you get people say, "Hey, well, maybe I want somebody to do some background music for this," right? And I'm a
Mhm.
synthesis, so I can create all kinds of atmospheric stuff if I want to.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely, yeah.
so
I mean,
sometimes you get these opportunities, like, because you're in this space, like you're in this community of podcasters, and then somebody sends you like I had a guy from the Tales from the Crypt from HBO, and he
oh, no
saw
way.
something. I interviewed him. He was the guy that created the Crypt Keeper's voice, and actually
Whoa, that's
worked.
sick.
And he actually did the actual the script for the Crypt Keeper, and he actually did the voice.
That's
And
so fun.
but
Did he do the voice for you on the show?
no, no, no.
Oh man, that would freak me out.
Well, maybe, but yeah, I think he was the guy that came up with the script for it, but I'm kind of
That's
overstated. But he was the guy that actually came up with that idea, and in the direction. But yeah, and he worked
no,
with the puppeteers to kind of
that's so
design
fun.
it. But it was just, like, you get these opportunities to meet. Yeah, I'm a fan of EC Comics, and I
Oh
was a fan
yeah,
of that show. And then somebody shows
yeah,
up, and it's like, oh, I get to talk to somebody who's like a hero.
yeah. It's awesome, man. Like, yeah, that
But
that was a
yeah, it's a
Heck
space
of
you
a
never know
project.
who you're going to be in. You know, this is a very evolving space, and then suddenly you can talk to people. You don't have to go through their agent. You know,
Yeah. No,
and so
it's the barrier for entry is getting smaller and smaller, and I feel like the film industry is kind of following that same path. It's like they need indie now. They want a fully
you
packaged
might find
project.
actors that they get drawn to you because of
Mhm.
what because they might see something in your film, and then this actor will come to you,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
And
Have
writers
a whole
come to you,
package.
right? The people come to you based on what you're putting out in the world, right? So then your tribe
Exactly.
actually finds you.
Exactly, yeah, no, so that's yeah, we're putting our hat in the ring, man. We're really just wanna be seen as the right people seen as the people that we know that we are, you know?
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah,
like
then that draw, you know, just because, like, you know, if you keep something to yourself, nobody's gonna know about it. You put it out in the
absolutely.
world, and then suddenly people say, "Hey, I wanted to jump on that train." And
Exactly, yeah.
you never know. You get some actor says, "Hey, I'll help fund it." Yeah, they're like, you never know. Like somebody pops up and it's like, "Yeah, I like what you're doing," and they want to do something that's like a not on the beaten path. You know, you go indie is how you do that.
Yeah, yeah, just make it, bro. Yeah, at the end of the day, you just gotta make stuff, man.
Yeah, because that's if you want off the beaten path and you don't like what's out there, then you go create what you like.
Exactly.
That's what I remember about the punk aesthetic that I liked about the Ramones and the Clash and what you could do and the Replacements, you know, and all those bands is like they didn't like what was going on. It's like, well, I'm going to do I'm doing what I think I should be listening to,
Yeah, no,
and so
exactly,
they
yeah.
just make it happen.
Yeah, and no, and that was yeah, we made a movie that we wanted to watch, you know? That was the whole thing. We had so much fun doing sound design, being like, "Oh, yeah," like, you know, stuff like it was just watching the movie over and over and over, like, you know,
Yeah,
and
because you know what you like in a movie, right? And you know,
mhm,
and then you're in the then now you have the toolbox and you
e
have the crafting, you know, ability to actually do
exactly.
it. And
Yeah,
so it's like that
exactly.
kid, you know, as a kid with the Lego set, you know,
Yeah,
back when it wasn't a themed Lego set, it's just a I can just do whatever I want. And
yeah,
now the
no,
kids today, I'm like, they got all these themed sets. It's like, what about just a set with the pieces so I can just do what I want?
yeah, honestly, that's probably why I stopped playing with Legos,
Yeah,
man.
because they started creating these theme sets, like, with the only thing I'm gonna do is an airport. The
Mhm,
only thing I'm gonna do is a boat. Like, why don't you just give me a like when I got it, they used to have these sets that just had just random pieces, and
mm,
you could just do whatever you wanted. And then they started like getting rid of that, and I'm like, what? Why? You know, you're limiting people's imagination. You
very
force
true.
them into this one way, and I think that's what we see a lot today. People trying to, you know, pigeonhole people into this one thing, and I like about the independence
Yeah.
artists is that you guys are kind of going against that.
Yeah, we do whatever we want, man. Like that's what I constantly preach that to everyone. It's like, bro, like there's no reason like, hey, you're a rapper, go learn to DJ. You know, it's gonna pay some bills.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's
you
I
know?
mean, that's kinda like the rapping and DJ, I mean, that's like the being a DJ is how you get to be a good rapper because you know how to find a good groove.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no.
if you
It's
know how to find the grooves, then you can take those grooves and stack them together, be like a De La Soul.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you come up with something, you know, be like the Bomb Squad, you come up with something because, like, you know how to find the beat.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it's remarkable now with the new STEM technology. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with like the way you
yeah,
could just
yeah, I know
pull
how you
everything?
can use, like, an Akai MPC,
Yeah.
you can pull the stems out.
Oh yeah, so my controller right now, like Serato has it built in naturally, so it's really cool being like a former rapper because I know exactly where that vocal is supposed to drop in on this beat, even though it wasn't designed for that, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's
being
very
able to
fun.
do that. I
Yeah,
mean, I tend to use my Moog and create my own stuff, but I
yeah.
mean,
Why not?
I have like an Akai Force, and
Oh, stage.
I
Yeah.
use it, but I kinda like I end up CVing it to a Moog, and then I actually create like beats using the Moog coming through
Oh
it.
wow, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, I got a Moog grandmother into an Akai Force, and then I have like a Roland JD-08 going into my Akai Force, and then I use like some of the the drum plugins that you can get off
Hmm.
that and then use that to create drum beats, but then use those actually use like the Kai as my center, kind of like my DAW
Okay,
to
yo.
actually bring in, you know, Moog and Roland sounds into
So you're
my
routing everything into the Akai.
yeah, and then
That's
I
sick.
use the sequencer to kind of build patterns and build songs. Cause it actually has a
That's tight.
songs level sequencer on a force. It actually can build songs.
That's fun, man. That's cool. That's an easy way to spend 12 hours and not
Yeah,
realize
yeah,
it,
because
you
you can
know?
build stuff, and then I actually bring it into a mixer, like a standalone mixer, and then record it. So then sometimes if I see a limitation of what it's letting me do on the Akai, then I'll just multi-track it into a multi-track recorder,
Oh,
and then
nice.
then manually play parts in certain sections. So then it
That's
becomes
dope.
less controlled and more sounds more like a live band because I'm a one person band.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I go and I track everything, and then I make my stuff is not DJ, but it's kind of like experimental, like rock and jazz and punk.
It's where DJing is going to evolve to eventually. It's some
Yeah, I
saying,
saw a
you know.
guy doing something like that. There was something on TikTok showing this guy using Moogs in a DJ set, and
Yeah,
they're
no,
using controllers with Moogs to kind of do randomized stuff.
oh yeah. I mean, like there's guys like mainstream artists like Fred again who's starting to use a beat pad on everything. He's got keyboard with him, and it's constant, man. It's
Kind of
a
going back to old school. The old
yeah,
school electronic musicians, that's what they used to do with the big Moogs like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They were just doing all this stuff on these Moogs that were these big stacks and using sequencers to create this randomized like stuff, you know.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just makes it so much cooler.
If you go look at like a Yellow Magic Orchestra, those
Hmm.
guys were doing nothing but like the Japanese group. They're kind of like Yes, and they had nothing but these big Moog racks and Prop
Hmm.
fives and DX7s and drum machines, and they would just put together, and it sounds like Nintendo music.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yo, that's
they're a famous like progressive band, but they actually ended up working with Sega.
oh
And back
wow,
in the day, on the early gaming systems, like the 8-bit and 16-bit systems, actually have songs that they help orchestrate.
that's
It
incredible.
actually was like their sound is embedded in a lot of Nintendo and Sega games,
Oh, I believe it.
8-bit and
Yeah,
16-bit games, but they were like a synth progressive band. That
that's
the
so
video
fun.
game industry kind of took their sound, and people say, "Well, it's video game music." Well, it's kind of like Yellow Magic Orchestra music that got
Yeah,
turned into video games.
yeah.
But I digress. I like music history, but
No, I love that, man. It's so cool, bro.
but it's interesting. Like you guys, like I'm really excited about people who are independent artists, and like you said, you're on the film circuit for the festivals, and you're
Yes,
going to be
sir.
going internationally. And so, like, are you going to be going to Europe soon?
Nothing is no flights are booked yet. We're waiting for a bigger festival to accept us. Right now, a lot of the festivals that we're getting into are about 300 to 500 people
Mm,
festivals, and there's some bigger ones out there. Obviously, like the mainstream ones, like Sundance, TIFF,
mm,
Tribeca. Those are like our big white whales
big
that we're
ones.
really chasing.
You're chasing
And
those.
those are the ones that we're really trying to travel to. But there are a few smaller festivals in like New Mexico, Arizona, like nearby states that I think that we'll be able to make it to.
Yeah,
Um,
you can get there, you can drive there, you can get to fly there, you can get there.
Exactly. Yeah. And like even I mean, if we do get the opportunity to go to Europe, it would be for a major festival like Rain Dance that we've submitted to.
Mhm.
And there's a handful that we're keeping an eye on. We're very, very conscious of where they're gonna go.
Yeah,
And we are extremely confident that the film will, hit one of those major festivals and be received pretty well. It's incredible how good it looks, bro, for how cheap it
yeah,
was,
but that's amazing with the tech. It's kinda like
Mhm.
with the audio today, how good you can be
Oh,
without having
yeah.
to go to Abbey Road
Exactly, yeah.
or Olympic Studios
I
or
mean,
Electric Ladyland Studio.
yeah, man, I gotta give a big shout out to our sound engineer, Dean Gray. He worked with us for about 6 months on this project, way longer than we initially said it would take, but, we wanted it to be perfect. And, his band just got signed to Cantora Records, which is,
Oh, yeah.
a label out on the East Coast. Their band's called Murder Mart, and they're phenomenal.
Alright. Awesome. I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out. Well, if
man.
they ever wanna come on the show and, like, push their record, I still interview bands.
Oh, nice,
That's
yeah,
like my
no.
first thing, like I said, back in 2016 when we started, all we did was interview independent, artists or,
Yeah. No,
emerging artists, and so
that's huge.
I still interview bands. I just interviewed, like, the bass player from Zepparella,
Oh, sick, dude, that's awesome.
and she has her own band, Dead
Nice.
Groove Band, and they had an album with it that we just, interviewed, but we still interview musicians all the time.
That's huge, yeah. No, like we got really blessed with everyone we worked with this whole time, man. Like if I were to shout out everyone, it would be a 20-minute podcast just to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said like your rap music, just to kind of seg to that. Like, is your stuff? What's your rap name? How are you
Dude.
out there in the
Yeah,
world?
I used to rap as Roy L'Orange. It means King Orange in French.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, it's really Roy L'Orange. But yeah, man, I was I don't even know how to describe it. I was experimental, had a lot of fun with it. I rapped from the age of 14 till about 29, and I still have music. I still like record for me, but I'm not releasing right now. I don't think
Is
that's
your
my
stuff
primary.
still out in the world? Is it
Oh
still out
yeah, yeah, it's still out there. Yeah, Roy L'Orange is still on Spotify. Go stream. You know, I
there?
think
Oh,
I
I'll have
got
to
like
check it out.
5 monthly listeners. um, but yeah, no, it was a fun run. I realized that rapping is a lot more expensive than it is lucrative,
Oh
and
yeah, it's hard
uh,
to get it out there with all the stuff. It's always the price of admission for musicians.
oh
Like
yeah,
back in the day,
absolutely,
you got to pay for your Fender. Now you got to pay for your MPC or your Pro Logic or your Mac and
yeah.
all the plugins and all the gear and the mics. And
It's
like it's
crazy.
yeah, like even though like you can, you could get your Logic, you get your DAW if you got the ideas and you got the voice.
Mhm.
You could put something together. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, no, I'm very confident in my ability. I feel like technically I'm a really good rapper still to this day. But yeah, no, I feel like it's almost like a credibility killer as well when I'm, talking to financiers or people, it's like,
Oh,
hey, I'm trying to get rights for this movie, but hey, I got a mixtape too. They're like, what are
no,
you
no, no.
focused
Like
on?
you got to kind of
Yeah.
stay in different lanes at different times.
Yeah, it's like what are you focused on right now? So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah, that's the fun part of it. But no, I genuinely do love just making content in general. Being a content creator of any value is incredible. But I feel like, yeah, film is like the last time that anyone's gonna be like, wow, I can't believe you made that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think like once you know where you want to be, like you evolve, and
Hmm.
you can take everything you did as a musician and apply it to the film genre because there's some
Absolutely.
synergy there. Especially when you're talking about the sound
Yeah.
engineering and stuff, and just having that musician's ear for it. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
that can really, multidisciplinary. You kind of you got to have the writer hat, you get the art director hat, musician
Yeah.
hat, film hat. There's a lot of hats.
Yeah,
As a
exactly.
producer, right?
Exactly.
You wear a
Yeah.
lot of hats, a manager hat,
Yeah, being able to command a
finance.
crowd is
Yeah,
effective when you have 100 extras on set, whether or not you're singing to them or not, you can catch their attention.
yeah. Just being able to know that you can actually manage things. You can manage
Mhm.
a budget. You can manage a work site. You can manage your assets, and
Exactly.
you actually get them that they listen to you and and people like respect what you're doing and they actually work as a team, being a team builder.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's
that's
like a big
major.
thing, right? Like the whole thing, and I think is like a band is the idea. If everybody's in a team and they're all pulling instead of like all kind of falling apart,
Mhm.
like you
And
don't
there's
want you don't want to be like the Eagles on the day they broke up.
yeah, no, exactly.
You want to
Nah,
be at the
man.
Eagles when they're doing not the long run. You want to do it when they were putting together Hotel California and they synced on that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the version you want.
That's the moment. Yeah, no, there was I mean, 7 days of shooting, there were for sure some days where it looked like it was gonna all fall apart, but luckily my director and my producer team really, held it down and we did a great job just white knuckling the bad parts and really smiling through the great ones.
Well, I want to thank you because I do have another podcast at like 8. So I want to thank you for being on the show today. We talking about the movie First Friday. We got the
Yes,
preview
sir.
there on the YouTube channel. That's a little too long to state, but it's going to be fully clickable. That link
Absolutely.
within the description. We are just been live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We will
Hey,
be on all the other podcast platforms like Spotify, video podcast, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon. By tomorrow, we're gonna have a landing page out there, and we'll
absolutely.
do some clips
Sweet, man. Yeah.
on
Look,
YouTube Shorts and
tight.
TikTok and Instagram. So yeah, just
Absolutely,
check
yeah. Hey, go watch First Friday movie, one of the best movies in the world. Come hang out with me at Davidoff Cigar Lounge if you want to hear a DJ. Shout out to Joshua Hayda, Andrew Quad, Allison Matty Rowe, Candace Joy, Trey Rojo, Fred Wilson, Bella Hugh, Marco 4D, all my actors, Norby, everyone that killed it, man. I'm very proud of us, man. Shout out you. Thank you for having us so much, bro. Yeah, we're just kids with the dream from Vegas, man. Keep supporting it.
Yeah, keep on going.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Come back with your next film.
Oh, yeah, man. We got a short coming out soon, bro. I'll hit you up.
Okay, thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.